All right. Anybody need a towel? Huh? How about that? I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you. I was really disappointed. I was hoping it was raining harder. And there was no way in the world we were going to stay indoors. And so I was really hoping for an absolute torrential downpour to see how our guys responded. So love the energy. Started in flex. Started when they first got out here. I mean, their attitude today coming down from meetings was incredible. They were ready. I thought we were a little sloppy on Monday, coming out of spring break. But thought our attention to detail wasn't nearly what was up to our standard. Addressed that with them and challenged them for today, and it started right off. And these guys are getting better. We're a long way away, a long way. But man, the progress that we've made over 9 practices has really been incredible. These guys are competing against each other. The little tempers flare at times, and I love it. Because at the end of the day, we come back together and we're Razorbacks. Well, we're on that field. It's iron sharpening iron, and that's what it's got to be. This was designed, and I shared with you at the start that this was going to be an extremely physical spring, and it has been. And I've been very proud of these guys and where we are, and we've moved some guys around, did some depth chart, kind of just letting some guys play some, moving some guys inside. We moved Sosa inside a little bit. And letting him, and he's definitely a difference maker. Just definitely seems that he fits inside, gives us a lot of depth inside. I've been very pleased defensively with where we are. Obviously, we've got to continue to develop depth over the next 3 to 4 practices. We'll be back on the field tomorrow. It'll be more of a teach practice. The tempo won't be nearly as intense as what it's been over the last few practices. We'll do a lot of half-line things tomorrow with them. But definitely, excited about today. I can't wait to get in there and watch the film. And a lot of corrections that got to be made, but we also got guys making plays out there. Offensively, I thought this was Cole Kelly's. He's put together about 3 really good practices. The last 3, the practice right before spring, and Monday was an okay day for him. But I thought today he really picked up where we wanted to see him. Ty Story's had a really good camp, really good spring up to this point, and doing a good job. So we got a pretty good battle going on right there with those 2 guys. I've been pleased with that, but. Offensive line, our design today, especially with the conditions, was we want to run the football, and so you saw we were a heavy run scrimmage today, which was by design, but it was also by the circumstance too. And we want to see these guys throwing and catching in the rain, and obviously some of them we couldn't quite didn't quite have it like we wanted it, and dropped a few balls that were right in our hands. But those things you got to work through. I mean, that's part of it. That's football, but proud of our players. I'm proud of this football team where we are right now. We got to continue to strain them and train them right now, and they're responding, and that's all we can ask. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Is the move with McTelvin, is that experimental or just trying to work him at a bunch of different spots
with
Sosa?
To
play him? Yeah.
Yeah, he's. We started out obviously in the first of spring with him at an end, but with Gabe coming on. Gabe's done a really good job coming on, and just the depth that we've got to have inside, especially to play in this league and to have the depth that we need. Coach Chavis would tell you the same thing. We need really eight quality inside guys and 7 really talented, or 7 defensive ends to get through a season. It's kind of our target number, and he gives us that depth inside. Obviously, he's got the capability of moving back outside if we need to, but we've started this over the last few practices, and he's done a really good job. He's really stood out right there, but he can still be moved back outside. So yeah, a little bit of both.
What did you think your number 1 defense today?
I thought that a lot of like everybody else, there's a lot of improvements got to be made there, but I love our aggressiveness. I think we're very sound at linebacker. With Dre Greenlaw Scooter, those two guys right there definitely set the edge. We played a little bit more nickel today than we've seen, and that was by design as well. When you start looking at that, Randy Ramsey is continuing every day to set himself apart, and is really becoming just a force on that rush end right there. His acceleration, his speed, his length. I mean, he's got the total package. I mean, he's got great tools. Secondary wise, we're continuing to get better. I think Ryan Pulley is he's as good a corner as there are. He's playing exceptionally well. He's playing with great confidence. Obviously we're working our other corner. We're having a rotation in there. Chevin Callaway, and we've seen him working some there, and also some at nickel. Santos Ramirez at safety. Cameron Curl is at home at safety. I mean, he just looks apart. And I know that was a move that was made before the spring started, was to get him to corner, or to safety from corner. So we got to continue to develop depth. We're again a long way away, but where we've started and where we are, and I think you were out there. You guys see the energy level of those guys. They're responding. They're responding to their coaching, and we just got to continue to push them, and that's where we're at.
Chase Hayden or any of the other running backs you feel kind of making a move?
Yeah, TJ, I thought TJ's doing some really good things. Early in spring we talked about his pass protection, and he's done an exceptional job. He's gotten a lot better of that over probably the last 3 to 4 practices. Obviously saw Chase today running the ball. Devwile Whaley is I think he has a chance to be really special as well. So we got a good rotation right there. We got to continue to. We got a few just some busts in how fast we're wanting to play. There's a lot of thinking that's required, and so we're going to continue to play fast and let them make mistakes on the field right now and coach them up in the film room. But I think Coach Traylor is, as we all have been, we're pleased with where we are right now with our running backs. And Chase has done a good job. I thought he ran the ball well today. But we just got to continue to push all those guys. One guy can't make it through this thing, as you know, and we've got to get a good rotation with those guys in there.
I want to ask you about some injury stuff. It looks like a couple of guys are dinged up. I want to say Jeremy Patton and Brandon Martin. Looks like Jared Cornelius has gotten more clearance. So how are we doing on injuries here?
We hope Jared. We hope after next week we'll be able to get a little bit more out of him. He's really getting a lot more individual work and some skelly work. It's kind of non-contact stuff. We keep him out. If it's tracking day, he'll get a lot of work tomorrow because it'll be a no contact. Jeremy Patton was just got a stinger in his neck. Going to be fine. He was there was just one, and it happened on Monday, and so we just chose to hold him out today. We knew how much of a physical practice it was going to be. He'll be fine. Brandon Martin's another one that had a foot sprain, but he's fine. He's going to be quiet. He'll be okay. We just got him in a boot for precautionary reasons. Same thing. But knock on wood, we've been extremely physical, and we've been getting through fairly healthy. Anyone else?
I wanted to ask you about the tight end, the usage of tight end. I know we talked about it a little bit, but what have you seen from them this camp? You threw a lot of touchdowns to them in the last scrimmage.
Yeah, they've really had some productive practices over during the entire spring. I mean, I think that they realized that they kind of came in with the question mark of how much are we going to be utilized, and now they're looking at when's my next sub going to come on the field. I think that they've understand their role. I told you early in spring this was the hardest position on this offense to play outside of quarterback was the tight end position because there's so many things you have to know and have to understand. And we've got depth there. Obviously I wish Jeremy could have played today. I thought CJ did a good job today. He made a few catches. Again, he's got to continue to grow with this offense and understand, you know, the pace that we've got to play at. We can't wait. And usually, most of the time, we were waiting out there today, and because we were snapping the ball about the 27 mark, and we want to snap it at about the 30 mark, 32 mark at times. We're waiting on those guys to get processed and get lined up, and that comes with it. The more we do it, the faster these guys are going to play. You know, Austin Cantrell is another one that he's had a really good spring now. I've been really pleased with him as well.
Gunner caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk us through what
Yeah, it was a great route. It was 4 verts, and it was on a 3rd down call, and did a great job setting the safety up. And you know, he's a guy that, you know, in some situational things that you can put him out as a bigger receiver. And you know, when you're out blocking on the edge and run some 12 personnel and still be able to step him on and off the line of scrimmage and use him in a receiver role, he's extremely athletic, and you know, been pleased with him. He's had a good spring as well. Yes, sir.
Kind of go through the progress of your offensive tackles, and I mean that seems to be, looks like it's settling out a little bit.
Yeah, it is, and you know, Coach Fry's doing a good job right there. We're trying to play a lot of guys. We're just trying to get a rotation in there with some of them. You know, obviously we try to set our 2, and then be able to move guys, you know, from moving from guard out to tackle. You know, Shane is a young man that's being forced to play tackle at times, just from some depth issues. You know, we don't have but about 10 scholarship O linemen right now on campus, and so, you know, your projected number, the number you'd love to have is 15 to 16, and so we'll bring 3 in. Three offensive linemen in the fall, and that gets us to 13. We're still below our number, so we got to do a lot of cross training right now. So that's why you're seeing some rotation of those guys in there at tackle. You know, Brian Wallace, I think, is really coming on. Again, same thing. The pace of play is it's getting better for him. Early on in spring, it was kind of blowing him away, but very athletic. I've been very pleased with Brian. Very athletic, and he's got a great skill set. But got to keep we just got to keep cross training these guys to create depth.
Chad, with the spring game being in Little Rock, from a recruiting perspective, recruits that go, I mean, obviously they won't be able to see the campus or anything, but are you still allowed to have time to meet with them? Will you set that aside? Can you touch on that?
No, we can't have any contact with any recruits on that are there, and because it's not on our campus. They can come. We can't talk to them, and so. But what we, you know, as we shared with them, is that we want them to come and see the environment. We're expecting it to be a packed house. You know, I would be disappointed if it's not. I want to see, you know, I've been extremely excited about all the Razorback clubs that I've been a part of all across the state, and the passion, and just the excitement level of our spring game being in Little Rock that they've shared. So, and just encouraging everybody to come out. Let's pack that place out. We're going to have some phenomenal recruits there that are just going to be in attendance just like a normal fan, and you know, unfortunately, we can't have them on the field, and we can't put them in a certain section. They're going to be all over the stadium, and we've got to bring that passion that I've seen since the day I've walked in here to you know, to the spring game on April 7th, because that's going to be a big day for us.
You ran
Yes,
a
sir.
pro day on Monday, and there were some former players, current NFL players. How do you go about building relationships with those guys, and how important is it to have those guys involved in the program and keep those guys around?
Yeah, isn't it neat when you see all those guys come back? I mean, you know, it really is special. You know, I was visiting with Ryan Mallett yesterday. He was up here throwing, and obviously he's a guy that I've visited with several times. But all these former players coming back in here, and as we have, and I've shared, again, this is just my personality. I want to welcome these guys back, and those that may have been just a little bit standoffish, whether or not should I come back around this new staff, how do I fit in? Man, we fit in, all right. You fit in with open arms. This is your home. This is some place, and as I shared with our players today before we broke and went to the scrimmage, that, you know, there's been many people that have sweated and cried and cheered that wore that helmet, that wore that logo on your helmet before you. There's going to be many people after you, but what are you going to do while you wear that logo on your helmet? That's what's going to determine determine your legacy and our legacy as a team moving forward. And so it's very important about Razorbacks past, present, and future to me. And man, anytime when these guys get to come around and share their experience, and I always ask them about, well, give me one moment that really stands out to you of your time here. Maybe it's a certain play, a certain game, the atmosphere of a crowd, and these guys, when you start talking to them like that, they just open up and they love the Razorbacks, and we want them to be a part of this. It's about all of us locking arms.
Coach, it's been about 3-4 weeks now of spring practice. Where do you think you are progression-wise from where you wanted to be when you first started?
Yeah, great question. Offensively, we're probably about 25% install, to be honest with you, and that's okay. It really is. I mean, man, I'm fine with that. It's not how much we can get in; it's what we can do. You know, I want to get really good at something. And these guys are, and right now it's understanding how to play fast and just get the base system down. All that other stuff will come. We've still got a lot of time ahead of us. We got summer workouts that these guys will be, player-led workouts. But from where we started to where we are right now, I would say we're right on schedule. Again, I knew we got a long way to go, and you can talk to me after the 15th practice, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. We're not there. We got a long way to go. But we've come a long way too. I think these guys are learning us. They're learning the staff. They're learning, our expectations. They're learning what our standard is, and it's about the little things. And if you can't take care of the little things, then how can we expect you to step on the field on 3rd and 2 and convert or make a stop? So we're getting there. I feel like we're on track right now. So.
Coach, going back to the spring game, do you have a format in mind as far as will it be ones versus ones, scoring, quarter length, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're going to pick up kind of like what we did today. We're going to go ones on ones. We're going to get after it. I think it's another great opportunity for us to scrimmage, and how we keep score and all that stuff. We'll figure it out. You get a stop, you get some points. It's really just kind of. I want to get some really good work. Now, let me back up and preface with this and say that there are some guys that will be limited, and that'll be by design. They'll get some work early, and then we'll get them out, and that'll be by design. Some guys that we know where they are. We know that we're counting on them in the fall. But more so about some of the younger guys, bringing them along, and it'll be a last really good scrimmage for us. So.
Got time for about 2 more.
Coach, you mentioned you couldn't have the contact with the kids in Little Rock, but you've had a ton of prospects and coaches on campus this spring. Just talk about how important that is especially when you're in a new place.
Yeah, you know what? I think that the last count, and this was as of Monday. We were sitting at close to about 850 high school coaches that have came on campus this spring and coming in and out, and we welcome them every day. We've got a portion of our day set aside that our offense and defensive staff goes and meets with these high school coaches. We didn't have a clinic. That clinic's in Hot Springs, so we just opened our doors and said, "Come on, we're going to talk ball." And so that's been really, really receptive to our coaches in our state. And we got some that come back every day and some that come back once a week. And so I think that's been very, very beneficial. It's kind of came a little bit more of a personal touch, especially early on, what we need. And obviously the recruits, we had some top-tier recruits. We had some here today. I mean, we've had a lot of people on campus. And, when you get them here, it's and I've said it before. We got a beautiful campus. We got something great to sell. You want to come be a part, and as I shared with our players today, don't be a guy, be the guy. And we got opportunity to sell to these recruits. You can come here and be the guy, be the reason. And so some guys like that, and some guys don't. They don't want to go be the guy. They want to go be where somebody else is a guy, and they've already done it. So, and that's okay. That's all right. We're going to get great players here, and then when you get them here, you got to develop them. And I'm been very pleased with how that's worked out.
Last one, Tom.
A couple more quarterback questions for you. Would you say somebody's ahead as far as first-team quarterback, and then there's a drive Malik Williams had a couple of nice runs. Hayden had a good run, and then Dalton Hyatt threw the touchdown to Woods. Can you speak to? Can't remember what defense that was, but that drive, and then who's ahead at quarterback?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it's a wash right now. Quarterback, I'm not going to name one. Coming out of spring, it'll probably be in the fall camp before we really name one. I will say this: that Ty really started spring out. Just he really progressed heavily. Was doing and is continuing to do well. Cole did not start as fast as Ty did, but has really came on. This was probably Dalton's best practice, and so we got a good competition right there. These guys are going to continue to push each other, but we'll eventually sit down and name the best fit for this team that gives us the best situation, the best position to win. But that's not today, and it won't be anytime soon right now. So, anyone else? Well, let me just tell you, as I share with you all the time, I thank you for covering the Razorbacks. It's a great honor to see y'all out there, and our players to see you out there in the rain, and the passion that you guys have for the Razorbacks and carrying us and getting our information all across the state. I thank you, and we appreciate your hard work. So, go Hogs.